Well, also, as you said, you grew up as an Orson Welles fan.
Yeah.
And Orson Welles, I think, is just one of these kind of great sort of mythic figures where, depending on your mood or temperament, there's an Orson Welles kind of for every kind of mood in the season. And I'm curious, because you kind of wrestle with all of them in the documentary. It's not just about the end of his life, the end of his career. You kind of go back to the very beginning, radio, theater, Citizen Kane. In terms of kind of putting these different parts of Orson Welles together and sort of balancing them, how did you kind of go about that?
Well, I mean, the film really focuses on the last 15 years of his life, from 1970 to 85 when he died on my 18th birthday, which I remember vividly, and just feeling like this is the least understood chapter of Welles's life, because in the public conception he was a has-been who was doing Paul Masson commercials and appearing on The Tonight Show. And it's because nobody saw the work he was doing in that time. And he was doing these things to make money, to do incredibly avant-garde films. And in a way, it's giving people a much fuller understanding of what he was actually doing in that time, and understanding him as both a heroic figure and a tragic figure in that way, which I think he's both. And when I think of him tonally, it's Shakespearean in terms that it's 100% tragic, but it's also 100% comedic, and comedic in the Shakespearean sense of comedy too. And Orson loved that. I felt like one thing I really wanted to have come through with this film is his sense of comedy. His films, for the most part, were very serious, F for Fake being an exception to that. But his TV work and a lot of the other things he was doing, some of the pilots he was doing for things and projects like Orson's Bag and other things, which is almost like a Monty Python show. And everybody who talks about Orson, who knew him, talked about his sense of humor and mischief, and I think he loved those things, and it hasn't come out that much. So I really wanted the film to reflect that part of him too, in addition to the tragic part, which is certainly there. And I wanted to just touch on enough of the things in his life that had made him the man he was by 1970, so that you understood it, but without having to really tell you about the War of the Worlds, or having to kind of give you a Wikipedia definition of who Orson was. So in that way, I felt liberated, in fact, from not having to go through. I mean, Orson lived a huge life, and there's no way to do that in less than 20 hours. So that helped me focus it.